listen, Tink, we were hoping for 3-0. Well, I mean, we were just hoping for a competitive team when the season started. We didn't really know what to expect with these Giants, but despite the tough loss last night, a tough four-quarter game, a couple of calls went against the Giants, a couple of plays they could have made that they didn't, but right down to the wire. 3 games, 2 wins, all in all. Probably a little bit better than we thought. We're joined by Julian Love once again. He's with us every single Tuesday here on The Fan on the Tiki and Tierney Show. Julian, how you doing today, buddy? What's happening?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
We are good. Hey, Julian, what was the message? I usually get a chance to hear, Dable post-game just from other sources, but what was his message after this loss last night?
Yeah, so I would say that, he was very composed. It was a tough loss against a division rival. Guys were obviously upset, frustrated, all that stuff. But he was composed, and he believes in the process. He believes in our growth. And so it's a short week, and so, his mindset was to quickly get it behind us and move on, to go now 3-1.
Yeah. Now, from a player standpoint, you were a tackling machine. You led the team in tackles with 10 solo, 14 total. That's just the stats that they see. But how did you guys feel you played? Did you leave this one on the field, right? Or were there missed opportunities out there for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the effort was there. I think everyone played, all out for sure. But there was plays that were left on that field, no doubt, in all phases. And so that's what we leave thinking about. I think on defense we need to execute way better in order to be what this team needs us to be. And, obviously I'm a defensive guy, so that's how I see it. Special teams, we got to execute better. And offense has to do their thing. And so, yeah, I think that's just the consensus feeling for sure.
How'd you like the whiteout? What was it like being on the field, 80,000 people all wearing white for the most part? Was it cool?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think it was probably the most electric game I've been to, or I've been a part of, since I've been on the Giants, which it was fun. I mean, they had fireworks, the whiteout was cool. The jerseys were nice. It was a great atmosphere. People were out there tailgating for
absolutely.
hours before the game.
You know how we do it. We show up, we get drunk. Game's over, we get more drunk. We're talking to Julian Love here on the Fan Tiki and Tierney Show. Just on a serious note, before we dive back into the game and what's ahead for you guys, Sterling Shepard. A horrible situation. I know how much you guys revere him, the respect that you have for the work that he put in with the Achilles, which is about as debilitating as an injury any athlete can have. I want to ask you about the turf at MetLife. I don't attribute that injury to the turf at all, but it's last year. Bosa got hurt. There's a lot of complaints about the MetLife turf. Do you think there's something wrong with it, honestly?
Yeah, obviously you hear that, and I know NFLPA looks into that sort of stuff and the playing services. It meets all standards. I think just, there's been some bad luck on it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of teams play on grass. I personally prefer grass. I know, Tiki probably preferred grass as well.
No doubt.
It's just, it's easier on your body. And so, yeah, it's tough, but, I wouldn't attribute this to the turf at all. I mean,
yeah.
It's just one of those freak things that, you absolutely hate to see.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a big loss because of the receiving core it's obviously it's young, it's developing, etc. But another question on the turf. I noticed early in the game, it was, I forget who it was in coverage. I think it was Adoree. I think it's definitely Adoree. Adoree Jackson in coverage. It was a comeback route. It was a short comeback, 10-yard comeback to CeeDee Lamb. It was almost like he had no traction, right? It was. And I know he had cleats on, but I was watching his feet as he was like slipping a little bit. And it made me quite look, and what kind of shoes does he have on? Like, is he wearing turf shoes or is he wearing cleats? What do you wear on that surface? Because I think that might be the issue why people hate that turf. It feels like it's an in-between field turf. You know what I mean? Like you could wear nubs or you could wear spikes or you could wear flat shoes. What do you wear on that turf?
Yeah, you definitely have to wear your normal cleats, your normal set of cleats. Sometimes in grass you could wear a longer spike.
Yeah.
That could dig in more.
Yep.
You can't wear that on this turf. You just gotta wear normal cleats. And it was a little slick that day and all that stuff. And you gotta keep your feet under you. But we practice on that turf a lot. We play on that turf a lot, and so for us, it should be our advantage. as a team to know what that turf is like.
Yeah.
So, Julian, I think that the listeners would find this interesting. Just take us behind the curtain a little bit here. So, game's over a little bit before midnight. Guys take a shower, get dressed, hit the media requirements, get in the car. I'm sure you live within a reasonable drive from the stadium. You're obviously up at 11:30 talking to us, which I'm sure is the first thing that you want to do.
I can't wait to get up and talk to Tiki and Tierney
after a tough loss and a late night. But what do you do the rest of the day? I mean, how does the body feel? Do you watch film? Do you go lift weights? What is the life of a pro athlete after a Monday night game?
Yeah, so, in general, it's tough to sleep after a game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the adrenaline still, not wearing off. And so I know guys are getting to sleep really late last night. And I don't know what they do. Guys, watch TV, play video games, whatever, at night.
Toke a little bit.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
It's legal now.
Invite a couple of girls over, listen, pull up a little pre-roll, you could gamble. Everything's legal. Do whatever you want.
Oh, my
I'm just
God.
joking. Don't answer that, Julian. Don't answer that.
No, but, so it's a late night. You're going to sleep late. It's a late start game. And so today, for me, I got up at, let's say, I think 9:30. Came in to get some treatment at 10, but I know majority of guys are sleeping in today.
Yeah.
And really, today is all about kind of getting. It's crazy because I watch the game as soon as I get home. I watch the TV copy right away.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I'll watch our film copy, and so I buzzed through it already a couple times. And so you get that out of the way. You gotta get some closure on it. Obviously, we're gonna get some coaching on it, but then you move forward. With this short week, play on Monday night, we have the Bears Sunday, and so now I'm watching and looking forward to the Bears and who we have coming in. And the rest of the day also is just to my family and just hang out with my wife all day.
Yeah.
And just getting just time. It's time to decompress.
Yeah.
Nice.
Julian, let me ask you, because last weekend I saw after the win, Coach Dable was talking about the process, right? If this would have been a loss, so you got to stay focused on the process. You guys are 2-1. I know a lot of the prognosticators had picked you guys to win this game. BT and I were not skeptical, but we knew that you could steal it, but the Cowboys are probably really good right now. They're more constructed, even though they're without their starting quarterback and Dak Prescott. But Cooper Rush played great. When you look at where this team is right now, obviously you're still trying to build into something great, and you might be a year away, or who knows. But how do you guys think about the wins and losses and the process that you guys are going through right now, as Coach Dabes is consistently, I know, talking to you all about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking about this on my drive this morning about kind of the mental and the mindset of this team, and I got to say I really like it because, in years past, you get super high with wins, and then you get super low with losses. And so it's it seems like the end of the world when you lose. But Dave's, since, OTA, since camp, has said, listen, we're going to win, we're going to lose. It's how we go about each week and how we can grow from each of them. And so after the wins, he wasn't obviously he was dancing after that first one, which is funny. But he was like, this game the outcome could have easily been different. And when you put it in that perspective and about what you do in the game is more important than the end result. I think that's what will help this team grow. And so obviously we're upset about the loss, but we know that the process still needs to be the process. And we need to execute what needs to be executed on the field, regardless of if we win, lose. It's all about that.
Yep, I got you. That makes sense. We're talking to Julian Love of the Giants every Tuesday here on The Fan, right around 11:30, Tiki and Tierney Show. So you mentioned the Bears. You turn the page. You get ready for them. We obviously are consumed with this because it's our job. I wonder, though, how much the first couple of weeks of the season you personally pay attention to the Eagles. And I don't just mean if they win or lose. The way you dive a little deeply into some film or some stats and keep an eye on the Commanders. How entrenched are you in what the rest of the division's doing so far?
I keep an eye on them for sure. I think you're not you're not looking to win the division if you're not looking at who's in your division. And so I've been watching their games when I have time and just keeping an eye on them for sure, and to see what type what players they have and all that stuff. And I would say you take it week to week, but for sure you have our division opponents specifically, always, you keep an extra tab for them. Always.
Yeah, you try to juggle, but you can't get too consumed. You got what's in front of you. I understand that. Julian,
Right.
we asked you last week about Kenny Golladay, and you said, very complimentary. He's putting the work in. He's grinding. He was outspoken. I didn't think it was really anti-team or as combustible. I think some people hijacked it. The guy wants to play, and you let it be known. And I was actually okay with that. Well, he got a look last night. He didn't do a whole lot. Do you sense that this is a situation that can continue? What do you think happens with Golladay? Because I can't imagine he's thrilled today, and I can't imagine the Giants are thrilled with what he did on the field last night.
Yeah, no, he's probably a little upset, by when I got away, especially at the end of the game. But from the previous weeks to this past week of practice and getting after it, I mean, he was turned up a notch this week in preparation. I think that sense of urgency is there for him to be on the field. I mean, he wants to win. He wants to contribute. If you're in this league, I mean, or at least I hope that, you want to be able to contribute to a team. You want to win. And so that was evident this week. I mean, specifically this week, he was really grinding. And so obviously, in the game, you want to see that carried over to the game. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting to see now how he responds and if he keeps dialing it up a notch, in practice, to get us some good looks because, we're going to need him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're going to need him.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it.
With Sterling going down. Listen, Julian, always good chatting. Go spend some good time with the wife. Maybe get something to eat. Just relax, chill. Mm-hmm. Tough one last night. But 3 games, 2 wins. Not a bad way to start the season. Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll get you next week.
Take care, Julian.
Joe. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Yeah, there he is. Julian Love every week here on the Fan, Tiki and Tierney.